You know, now that I think about it, did I put a reminder for Patreon? Me don't know. Me go and check. Oh, I didn't. What was I thinking? I don't know. Hey, NFS. Whoa. I forgot to remind Patreon that we're that we're live. Hold on. We're live now. Okay. There we go. I did it. Well, I have to click publish and then I will have done it. Publish. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. Okay. Hey. Hey, Cookielicious. How are y'all doing today? Okay. There we go. I'm all set up. I feel like every time I come on here, I am not properly like set up, yet somehow I am as well because there's not a lot of setup to do. Don't know if that makes sense, but it is today. Also, just bringing myself up a little bit. So, um, you guys, I'm so happy to be off work. Like, yeah. I'm like, I need the weekend to come. And I need to plug in my phone. You said made me happy because I need hand holding to cook. Hi, nice to see you, FMGF. Hey, Megan. Like, I saw your message in Discord. Like, did I read today's chapters? Oh, yes, I did. Look, don't worry. Yesterday I was like, wait, how many chapters did I read? Oh, I read them. Okay. I finished them yesterday. So, still doing better because I did not have to read any chapters today. They were already taken care of. I'm getting better with my time, but not really. I have a. So, yeah, this morning I was able to start reading this. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. You said today I was reading mistakenly. Wait, MTSF. Every time I see these letters, my brain thinks mistakenly saving the villain, but like there's no V in there. Thrice married to a, to a salted fish. I think it's because you're starting with an M rather than a T. So like my brain, I don't know. Anyway, from chapter 11 onward and reached 18, but somehow skipped to 22 and read to 23. Wait, what? You got to go back and read the previous chapters. Oh my gosh. Was just listening to the previous streams. Okay. Hopefully the audiobook I sent will be helpful. I did click on it. It was not. But that is not a fault of your own, Megan. That is a fault of my personal brain. So it's reading the fan translation and I'm reading the official translation. So even though the words are creating the same sentences, they're not saying them in the same way. And while I'm able to deal with something like that, like when I go to church and we're reading a passage of scripture and they have the English Standard Version and I have the King James Version, like it's only for a short period of time and I'm okay. I can do that. But like consistently listening to someone reading different words from me, like I tried for about 5 minutes and I was like, I think this is making me understand less. So I had to put it down. I'm just gonna have to like read it without any of that help. But it's okay. It's totally okay because, well, I don't know what awaits book four of QJJ. It already started off getting into some things that I'm feeling like I'm gonna have to recap. So I don't know. But if QJJ is as easy of a read as volume three was, with maybe the occasional little sprinkles of things I need to break down, then I'll be fine. you know, I'll be fine. You say, ah, you see, that's annoying. Yeah, so I was just like, nope, can't do it. No one out there has decided to pick up Thrice Married to a Salted Fish and read the official translation just yet. But I mean, it is fairly new as far as the official being released, so that makes sense. Sometimes the tiniest things trip brains up so much. Yeah, like if my version says they went outside to play, and then the fan translation says in order to play, they went outside. My brain is like, what are we doing? Which one is it? Even though it's the same thing. So, oh God. You said that would mess you up too. Yes. QJJ Volume 4 covers your fave. It is very nice. I don't know yet if it's my fave. Um, Let me think about this. Actually, let me just open up Canva really quickly because I do love this cover. I'll just go by what we have read thus far on my channel, regardless of what y'all have read from. I do like Volume 1, but definitely not my fave. It's hard to pick between this and Volume 3 because I really do like Volume three's cover. But you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and agree with y'all that Volume 4 is the best one thus far. And of course, Shun's a Trends on it, so Shunny baby. You said me too. Mm. Yes, I also really, really like Volume 2. It's up there for you too. But yeah, how are y'all doing today? I was working until 36 minutes ago. Yeah. And I was just really glad to be off because I just want to read. Like, I just want to do nothing today but laze around. You said that fan, that pose, right? I'm like, let me go grab a fan and see if I can pose like this. Yeah, I'm going to imitate Shunza Trend and see how that goes. So, really quickly, this isn't really one that I usually have, but the other one is dirty. So, here we are with another cup, another mug. And this was from a gift that was given. I think there was Godiva chocolate in here, which I had heard that they do some kind of like, what was it, child labor, slave labor? I don't remember. Point is, I didn't eat the chocolate, but I kept the cup. It's a gift. So right now we just have this. It doesn't need a name, but I have a little bit of the sniffles. Yesterday, my left nostril was plugged a little bit, and I'm like, okay, I'm not coughing, I'm not sneezing, like my body doesn't feel any kind of way. Everything is fine. Okay. Early this morning, I woke up and I had the sniffles. Still no coughing, like literally nothing else at all except the sniffles. So I'm like, okay, apparently, my body is trying to catch a cold. So I have been trying to get rid of it before it gets here. You'll be running errands again soon. Mm, please watch your fingers. Yes, please. Hey, Suki. Hey. Right, sending you healing vibes and sending you paying attention to your fingers vibes, but not paranoia vibes. You said, I made it. Yes, you made it. We have not started chatting about anything just yet, but we will in like the next 3 or so minutes. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into a full blown cold. That's what I'm hoping. Because my husband had a cold. He's had it for like the past week or so, and I haven't caught it at all. So then I'm like, is it just delayed? What are we doing? Like, why are we getting sick? There was a time in our lives where we just did not get sick at all. So I've just been so confused since what was it, November, when it first started happening where we just started getting sick. I don't know, but I'm just letting y'all know I got the little sniffle, so sometimes I might have to sniffle. So Mm. I want to share something with you all because I think it's very important. You said you feel like everyone you know is getting sick. No, everyone, stop it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I want to share something with you guys because, well, I just wanna. I was on, well, no, for the past month or so, every time I would get on TikTok, not TikTok, YouTube, I would see shorts from this one person. And they were posting BL content. It was clearly their drawings and their animations and everything. And I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. Um, but I would just heart it and then go on about my day. Come on again, heart it, go on about my day. A couple of times I binged a couple of videos, hearted those, and then I would go about my day. But then I saw one of the reels and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So, because this person has a Patreon and they have their books because it was presenting like as a web comic, and I was like, well, I don't really do web comics like that, so I think that's why I was a bit reluctant. But after seeing their content over and over again and really liking what I was seeing, I went ahead and I went to find their Patreon to see that no, it's not just a web comic. This is an author. They write books, or they're in the middle of like a series, and they're working slowly but surely on the webcomic. So I subscribed to their Patreon. I think like they're mid tier. And then eventually I was like, yeah, I'll just do the highest tier, whatever. So I started reading their book, or listening slash reading to their book on Patreon, because they have the physical copies that you can get off of Amazon. You can get the ebook, the paperback or hardcover. On top of, you could just purchase the chapters off of Patreon. And then books one and two have audio, whether on Audible or on Patreon. So I started listening to it. I listened to the first six chapters and I was like, yeah, I think I want this. So I went ahead and bought the first book. I should have went with my first mind and bought the first and the second book, but they've been purchased separately. So the second book should be coming tomorrow. Anyway, I flew through this book. I'm getting to what book it is. You said allergy season two. I actually don't have allergies. That's the crazy part. Mm. And so I'm getting to what the book is, I promise. So this book, let me start by saying it's out of my comfort zone, if you will. It's not Danmei. Again, but it is BL. It is more so in the horror realm. And so I was like, I don't know, because I haven't read horror since I was in like the eighth grade. And there were some books that I liked, but they were the only horror that I read. So I was a bit skeptical going into this, but I was like, I'll give it a shot. And with everything new that steps out of my like comfort zone, kind of like when I first started reading Don May, my brain was like, should I be reading this? Still like breaking out of my, not necessarily everything, but breaking out my Christian restrictions in life. And so I was like, should I be reading this? It's hard. And there's a witch in it and and this and that. And I was like, I don't know. But I was like, I'm just going to keep reading because it's really, really good. Anyway, like I said, I flew through this book, and the author herself is extremely nice. She gave me a warm welcome on Patreon, and we conversed with each other back and forth. I joined the Discord. I've already got my favorite character, and I'm on that team in the Discord. And I wanted to share with you guys this book. It's so far, there are, I think, 6 volumes, but technically 4 volumes, and then I think like 5 and 6 are in a different timeline or something. I know they have like a book 0 or 00, which is like an alternate, story, but with the characters. But this is Eric Linnaeus. That's the whole series name. But this is volume 1, The Witch's Curse by Kakito Lin. Very, very good. And I was actually surprised, number one, because of the genre. Like I said, I haven't really done horror like that before. but I am enjoying this. Not only that, of course, I'm not giving any details away, and it's even hard for me to try to summarize this anyway because it's so out of my comfort zone. But one thing I can say, which is one of the struggles that we often have when it comes to reading Danmei, is when the authors decide they want to go to the past. Right. That's our struggle. That's the struggle bus. This book, Kakito Lin, and I'm already on volume two, but Kakito Lin does a very good job of weaving the past and the present together, just like constantly, in my personal opinion. Like one moment we're in the present and then we go to the past. Then we're back in the present, we're back in the past, present, past, present. Now, of course, if you're just listening to the audiobook, that might be slightly confusing, which at first I was. So I'm actually going to go back and read this again along with the audiobook. But I thought that it was pretty good weaving back and forth instead of like staying in the present for such a long time, getting into like the heat of the thick of the plot, and then suddenly just plunging us into the past, but teeter tottering between the two. So that's one thing that I really like about this. And then the other thing I'll let y'all know is you get multiple perspectives in this book. So it's not just coming from one person's perspective. It's coming from multiple people. And without like giving any spoilers, one second. At the beginning of each chapter, it'll tell you whose perspective it's in. So, chapter one, this is why my job sucks. Charles Walsh, May 1998. And then the next chapter, it might still be Charles or it might be someone else, So, and then as you keep reading, you'll understand the importance of these people. So I just wanted to share this with y'all really quick because I kind of been going crazy over it for the past couple of days. Oh my gosh. And I'm trying to be smart with my money. Okay, because I've spent a little bit too much money on this series already. Like invested in the Patreon, bought the first and second book, also bought the audiobook. So I'm just like I need to slow down. So, yes, I wanted to tell y'all about this. And if you're interested in looking at the YouTube shorts and stuff to kind of get an idea, it's oh, it's a sort of friends to enemies to lovers series. I'll go ahead and say that there is no lovers in this at all, which I do appreciate. I do appreciate as the plot builds, then I can get more of an understanding of why things are the way that they are. So, yay! Kind of like, our beloved Gumag and Morsi. Not this story, but just the whole like friends, enemies, lovers, all of that. So, yes, I just wanted to take a short second to just shout out a book because I feel like it's rare that I do something like this as far as branching out of the books that we're reading on my channel. And this is someone who's an independent author who's really pushing their work and doing all of this stuff, not saying they're on their own, but doing so much to push out their work from drawing and animations and this like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna let the world know. So, and Kakito is a very kind person. So check it out if you're interested. You said you're very interested. Yay! You said you just knew it was that book. You also have them in your Amazon wish list. Yes. Yeah. I had been watching for like a whole month and then finally I was like, fine. YouTube, you keep showing me this content. I'm gonna go check it out. And I'm glad I did. I'm very glad. You've seen their stuff? Yeah. Very, very enticing. So now that I've done that, gave a little spiel, let me put into position what we're all here for. I'm also going to prepare some objects in case they are needed during the live session. I don't want you guys to see the object. Or the objects, I should say. I'm trying to keep them out of the camera. But yeah, hopefully everybody is all caught up on the chapters for today. We don't want anybody behind. But if you are, it's not the end of the world. That's like the first cough. Okay. Moving this right here. Lovely. Y'all, we are almost done. After this, we've got chapters 31 through 38 left. Okay. So we are starting with chapter 26. So I hope y'all are ready. And I thought I had my new format, but I don't think I have it down just yet. So it is what it is. I'm gonna try to see how I wrote my notes for this one. Alrighty. Make sure I'm not missing anything really quickly. Okay, we're all good to go. Cool. So really quickly, we have in the last chapter where we left off on chapter 25, we had Wan Chung writing out the prince's names, right? And Ting Yu was like, "Are you doing this for me?" And he was like, "Yep. So now you have to be kind to me. You have to be nice to me, okay? Be gentle with me." And that was the end of the chapter. Then we move into chapter 26. You said, "Ooh, we're nearing the end, all right?" We are. But on the bright side, we have volume 2. Okay. So in chapter 26, we have Wan Chung in the study. Or him in the study, not Ting Yu, but he's in the study without Ting Yu to solve a problem, as he put it. And he's writing in a way that Hua Lu does not understand. And I was like, I wonder if he's writing in English, maybe, because in these time periods, they would not know about the English language. And we have seen that, like in other Danmei, where if someone's talking in code, they used English. So that was just my guess, but we don't know. So that section is very short. He ends up getting a headache and he gets tired and annoyed. And he's like, "I don't want to think anymore." And it's like, "Okay, you should just take a rest then." He said, "That's probably good." Runs back to burning dinner. Please don't burn your dinner. I want it to be edible for you. Unless you like eating burnt things, then burn away. So then in the next scene, we have Qing Yu is finishing up his bath when Wan Chung walks in. And Qing Yu teases him, calling them sworn brothers and everything. And for a while, Wan Chung was actually just like looking at him. And I was like, "Do you like what you see?" Because it was explaining on page 298, that his hair, he'd only half dried his long hair. It fell to the front of his chest, soaking his inner clothes. His garments were made of silk. And so, of course, they were transparent when moistened and everything. And, his body, apparently it's pure body, hidden half beneath translucent silk, made him much thinner and more beautiful than that of a grown man in their, of 20 or 30. And so it was like, "You like what you see, Wan Chung?" Because he's staring kind of hard. And so, again, Qing Yu is teasing him, and he's like, "Oh, we're just sworn brothers. So there's no problem," because he's always throwing out the sworn brothers white, right? And Wan Chung is like, "Bruh, if you mention sworn brothers again, I'm going to cough up blood." And this actually alarms Qing Yu, surprisingly. He's like, "Oh my God. Okay, I won't mention it anymore." Because for real, if Wan Chung starts coughing up blood, then it's not good. Like his days are already numbered, but his days would be numbered. So he was like, "Okay, I won't do it anymore." And Wan Chung was like, "Oh, okay, yay." Like he was shocked about that. So then we have them talking, and Wan Chung is no, Qing Yu mentioned like it looks like you haven't been sleeping well lately. And then Wan Chung says that it's just because of the coughing that he hasn't been sleeping well. And so Qing Yu does not call him out on this lie, but he does tell him not to worry. That's his roundabout way of addressing the real issue. He knows not why you're not sleeping. And it's not because of the coughing, because you've been I'm assuming the herbal baths that he took before, that's something that has been constant. Maybe not every day or whatever, how often it is. The point is that herbal bath was supposed to help the coughing and diminish it to help sleeping easier. So it was like, yeah, try better next time when you lie because you kind of sucked at it. So then we move to the next scene. It stopped raining. Honestly, it's been raining so much in this series and in QJJ that sometimes I look out the window and I'm wondering if it's raining here. Way too much rain, but apparently the rain has stopped in the next session, and Lu Wanchung's health is better again. Yay! Because we're on a little roller coaster. And so their whole extended family is finally leaving. And cousin Bai Shuo is sad about leaving, but he also mentions a specific restaurant. It's called Jinshu Pavilion. And he's talking about this like lamb goose food that they created that he could not find anywhere else. And he was just like, it was so good. I wanted to go, but they said they were full. And Chingy was like, well, did you let him know that you're the Marques's cousin? That's all you have to do. You're here now. And where we are in this capital, name means everything. So that's all you have to say. And so I love it because um Qingyu is just offering to go for Bai Shuo, and he's hoping that this, like them going out to this restaurant, will ease Wan Chung because he can see that he's in a mood, right? To which Wan Chung agrees. But it turns into a date because Wan Chung says, then shall you and I have dinner at Jinshu Pavilion together? We can bring back a lamb goose for sixth cousin as well. Mind you, the way it was originally presented, I'm sure Baishua was thinking that all three of them were gonna go. But Wan Chung is like, oh, you and I will go and we'll just bring back that lamb goose for cousin. And it was funny because after he said that, it said Lu Bai Shuo thanked the two, although for some reason he felt that something wasn't quite right. And I was like, yeah, because they just booted you out. They were like, we're gonna go and enjoy, and then we'll just bring the food back for you. So date night or date day, I don't remember if it was day or night, but I just thought that was really, really fun that they're going on their own little date. So, um, da 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 da. Yeah. So while they're out on a stroll, who is it? Huan Tong smells roasted chestnuts and is filling the air. And he's like, oh, I love the smell of it. And Ching Yu's like, if you want them, go get them. And then Huan Tong is like, why can't I smell it? And I was like, no, he can't smell? Because not too long ago, you guys remember, his smell was getting better. And he especially smelled Ching Yu. So for him to not be able to smell it, I was like, okay, for us, and it mentioned it in here again. Of course, that's an indication of the decline of his health. But I was just like, no, why? You said kick that third wheel right off. Hey, Binza, how are you doing? Um, so yes, I was like, no, I don't want him to not be able to smell anything. But Qingyu takes him over there anyway. And Qingyu ends up buying a hairpin for Wan Cheng on the premise that he doesn't want ink on his clothing anymore for when Wan Cheng is, twiddling his fingers with the brush and it has ink on it. That's his reason for getting the hairpin. We all know that's not his reason. No, it probably most certainly is his reason, but still. And so one chunk is like, Guy, you are so petty. So anyway, they purchased this thing. He said, you're doing okay. Well, okay is better than bad. So good. That's good. I'm doing all right. Just got the little sniffles, so I'll be sniffling throughout all of today. Hopefully by tomorrow, sniffles will just magically disappear. So, uh, we move forward, and they're in this. restaurant finally, and there were some pretty girls performing. I think it was just like two of them. And Huan Tong is like, "Oh, those girls are so pretty." Qing Yu, well, master, but Qing Yu, and he's like, "Which one do you think is prettier?" And Qing Yu says, who he thinks is prettier. So then we have a moment where clearly Wan Chung is unhappy about this. He's a little sad and gloomy. I won't even necessarily say he's jealous, but he just gets in a sad mood. And because it said he was sulking, or he said sulkily, and so he was just like, "Oh right, I forgot you like girls." And Chingu was like, liking girls or not has nothing to do with being able to appreciate beauty. So then of course Wan Changa was just like, "Okay, well then let's go appreciate them more." And Tingyu is just like, "Fine, if you want to, then I guess that's what we're gonna do." So he pushes them out so they can get a better, closer look at these beautiful ladies. And of course, the greasy crown prince is there. Because why wouldn't he be? Also, one second. The crown prince, he's there, right across the way, and he sees them, unfortunately. And Qingyu is just like, "Okay, let's go back." And Wan Chan's like, "There's no rush. Let's just stay." Bad idea. But anyway, the crown prince sends over one of his guards, and he's offering a glass of wine, a cup of wine, to Qing Yu. Just him. Not the husband that's sitting right there, just to Qing Yu. Anyway, he's like blatantly showing his interest. Okay. But Qing Yu refused. And then when the guard was like, "Do you know who you're refusing from?" Wan Chong backed him up. He backed him up 100%. And so then he ended up mentioning Princess Jing Chun, who apparently at this time, the only information that we have is that the crown prince officiated her wedding to the North King to stabilize the border. After that, the mood was pretty much ruined, so they returned home because it was nap time. But anyway, while Qingyu was in his study, Wan Chung actually walked in and said something very alarming on page 307. Okay? He walks in there and he's like, "I can't do it. I can't ignore everything else. You were born to stand atop mountains. Even if you commit every evil in the world, I can't let you be reduced to a mere speck of dust." Now, that's not the alarming thing, but it was kind of like, okay, for Qing Yu, like, what are you saying? So then he keeps going. Actually, what do I have? He said, "I must find the best solution to this problem once and for all." Now, the note that I have here is, "As if you have tried and failed before." When someone says once and for all, that's like saying, I mean, the word once is in there, but it doesn't usually mean once. It means you've tried before to find a solution, but it was like something's not working. And so when you say once and for all, that's your way of saying, "Okay, I need to find this solution that once I do it, that's it." So we're like, huh? What is the problem and what is the solution? So then, what does he say? The alarming thing is that he wants Xiao Cheng dead. Now, you would think it was alarming. It's alarming for us, I guess, because Wan Cheng usually isn't one to like respond in this manner. He's usually leaving all of that to Qing Yu, basically, and like, "Well, if you want to do that, I mean, it's whatever. You look hot while being mean." But now the roles have reversed, and he's like, "Yeah, I want him dead." And then Qing Yu is just like, "You want some help? You want some help?" I was like, "Oh, so now we're the murder couple. Let's go. You're finally done with work? Yay!" He said, "So tired. Finally, you can enjoy the stream." Look, can you enjoy it? You said you're so tired. Also, but I'm just really glad you're off work. I love when people get off work because we get to like, hopefully, woosah? Hopefully. What are you munching on, NFS? Okay. While I pull chapter 27 notes out. So, for chapter 27, you said enjoy your meal. Actually, I'm gonna wait for NFS to tell me what you're munching on. You probably should have brought some tissues in here. That's okay though. Oh, I should have put my humidifier in here. Why didn't I think of that until now? You said you love Chingu. Oh, you love Chingu. It's like, you want a hubby? I'll get it for you. Pretty much. Pretty much. Because at first it was like the reverse. You know, if Chingu wanted it, then Wanchung was like, by all means, yeah, you got this. Go ahead. Do whatever you want. I'll take care of the rest. Now he's like, this is what I want. Some creative cabbage. I love it. Sounds delicious. So, oh, also, you guys will be proud of me. I ate before this live session. Yes, I ate approximately 20 to 30 minutes before this live session. I had onigiri, but in a really weird, not triangular shape. and and I took it, I Americanized it by putting some pepper jack cheese on top of it, and then a fried egg and some chili. It wasn't chili oil, but chilies in oil, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And I had one of my frozen grape popsicles, so I'm all good to go. I don't need to eat. And I do have frozen grapes, but I didn't bring them this time because I ate. So I nourished myself before the live session. Very proud of myself. I feel like I've accomplished something. So now, was it good? It was. It was, especially after I put the chilies in oil on top of it. It whatever ingredients are in there, which I could just look, elevated everything. But it was good. It was good. Next time I think I'd probably want to season my rice more though, because like I'm okay with plain rice. Hey Stephanie, how's it going? I'm okay with plain rice in certain scenarios, but like for the onigiri, because it was also gigantic, okay? I need the little molds if I'm gonna try to make the small cute onigiri. Anyway, it was gigantic, so it was a lot of rice. So I put some seasoning on it because I had onigiri before that I made, and there was no seasoning on the rice, and I did not care for that. So yes, this time was good. You want to eat something right now because you have to fast tomorrow. Why do you have to fast tomorrow? You having some kind of operation done? um, well, I'll wait for you to answer that question, but let me also. Oh, that's hot. My tea's cooled a little bit, so I'm gonna try to let's warm it up a tiny bit more. Oh, could y'all see that steam? I don't even know. Okay. So for chapter 27, okay, we have, first off, it's a very difficult task trying to kill the crown prince. Oh, for Ramadan. Okay. Not me. I'm like, are you having a procedure done? I just jumped to something so drastic. Sorry. My bad. I do not wish that on you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was actually fasting with my husband's church when we came into the new year from like the 5th to I think maybe the 10th. They were going all the way to the 25th, but because I had surgery, um, actually, no, it was like the 12th or so. I wanted to make sure that I was nourishing myself properly with the foods that they told me I needed to eat for surgery. And then after that, I did not continue the fast. So at some point, I might go back to it because I think it was just from like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And yeah, you just have to demeat. It started for you today because Easter. Yeah, see, I don't ever remember Easter, especially since the month it's in changes, the day changes. So And the only thing I really have any knowledge about as far as like even trying to guess when it is Easter. So like I've heard of Ramadan, but I have no idea like when that starts or anything like that. So I'm so sorry for the guess that I gave because it was way off. Mm. Okay, so sorry. Chapter 27. Obviously, very difficult to kill the crown prince. The question is, how are we going to kill the crown prince? Because I am here for it as well. But even Ching Yu wants him dead. After the whole little stunt that was pulled at the restaurant, he was like, oh yeah, I really want this greasy mofo. Like, kill him ASAP. So, to keep the crown prince from trying to take Ching Yu once Lu Wancheng has passed, they need to act as soon as possible. Because it's pretty clear to all of us that once Wancheng passes, yeah, he would be all over Ching Yu. So they were in the study together, plotting, scheming, planning. And then Qing Yu offered to princess carry Wan Cheng back because, he was like, um, actually, no, they weren't in the study together. I'm sorry. Qing Yu was in there and then Wan Cheng like showed up. Hold on. Also make sure I turn. And so he was like, I can carry you back to the room. And he was like, carry me back. He's like, yeah. And then once he saw how Chingu was about to carry him, he was like, oh my God, a princess carry, like in his mind. And I was like, okay, another ding. Princess carry. Ding. So anyway, he needs to go back to the bedroom to stay out of the wind. Are you asking Princess Carrie because you don't know what it means? Um, Princess Carrie is when like one hand goes under the knees and the other hand is like around the back, basically, and carrying the person in the front. That's, the typical way you'll see someone get carried, a girl get carried in C dramas or anime and stuff like that. The cutesy one where the girl can put her arm around the guy's neck and look up at him like, oh. So he was about to get picked up like that. And he was like, no, 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 no. He was like, just let Huan Tong carry me back, okay? And I know he's probably like, I can't even pick you up. And I really wanted to pick you up. I am not about to let you pick me up. Isn't it also called a bridal carry? Yep. It can be called a bridal carry and the princess carry as well. Yeah. So, and those are definitely interchangeable. In fact, I knew them more so as a bridal carry until I started reading Danmei, I think. How all the Jane Austen girlies are carried in the English countryside. So there we have it. So it's like Huan Tong can do it. That's it. So apparently, the reason why Wan Cheng had gotten out of bed and rushed over to the study was because he'd had a nightmare. Now, on page 312, he said, thank you for the explanation. You're most welcome. So on page 312, because of course he doesn't want to tell Qingyu what the nightmare was, but we have it where instead of saying what the dream was about, he actually asked if he was ugly because of the way that he just looks so disheveled and everything, and he's already, sickly and blah blah snore. And then Qingyu says, you look desperate, yes, but not ugly. And then in the description of Qingyu's thoughts, it says that given Wan Cheng's personality, it was impossible for him to be truly ugly, even if something damaged his appearance. Now, it's not to say that Qingyu could not have thought this sooner, you know. However, with the development of their relationship, their friendship, their sworn brotherhood, right? Having this, like taking that moment to even think something like that, I think is a big leap. And so it was like, you think no matter what, he wouldn't be ugly? Because we all know what that means, right? Once you start liking someone, regardless of what they look like, and it's just like because of their personality, you're done. So then, of course, ding ding again for Wancheng, which I guess I'll just say ding every time something is suspicious, transmigratory, because I'm not going to spend too long on each and every single time. We're just waiting for the confirmation, right? But then Wancheng is, sad about or annoyed about himself looking desperate. And he said that he wanted to be cool. And of course, it said that for Tingyu, he spent so much time with this man now that he's just understanding what certain words meant. And he thought it meant handsome and graceful. So he was like, no, no, you did look cool. He wouldn't mind if he was a worm. Right. You know what? Wan Chun could ask him, would you love me if I was a worm? Would you still love me if I was a worm? And he would be like, I suppose. So, um, da-da-da-da. So after that little thing, they resume scheming on how they're going to kill the crown prince because this is important. And Qingyu asks for like any what do you know about the crown prince? Just give me everything that you know. So I'm just gonna say ding 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 before I even start reviewing all the things on page 313, where Wan Cheng's descriptions of Xiao Cheng give him it's giving I've read too many novels. That's what it's giving. I've read lots of novels, romance novels to be specific, because he says that Xiao Cheng often has a cold smirk, a half smile, his tongue poked into his cheek, calm and collected, casual in the midst of strife, tilts someone's chin without warning and say, "Look at me." I was like, sir, how is any of this information useful? To which Qing Yu does have to stop him because he even was like, he'll have red rimmed eyes, says in a low, hoarse voice. Kiss me and I'll give you my life in the nation. And then he's just like, oh, he also likes to come up with these nicknames like Xiao, blah, blah, blah. And Qing Yu's just like, okay, sir, please give me something useful. And he was like, well, I told you all the useful stuff earlier before. So like this is just the excessive stuff. And so Qing Yu is just like, oh, Princess Jingchun. And he's like, you're a smart cookie. He said, look at these two just lovingly plotting murder together, right? And I'm here for it. So let me make sure. So all of those ding ding dings, we're gonna come back to those ding ding dings. We have the story of Princess Jingchun. Her backstory is not anything special. Basically, she and the prince met each other when they were young. They bloomed into, oh, I'm sorry. Another ding 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 is he said, wanting to keep the emperor's trust, he didn't say jack shit. But anyway, so basically they grew up together. It blossomed into young love, but she was just a maid. Could a maid be with the prince? No. He wasn't even the crown prince, but prince. So no. And then the North King ended up falling in love with her. And so the emperor, to appease the North King, was like, yeah, sure, you can marry her. Not only that, but my son will officiate the wedding. That was actually mentioned, in the previous chapter. So he had to marry off the woman that he loved to the North King. And like I said, he didn't say jack shit. Ding, ding, ding. Couple that plots treason together remains together. Well, I need to talk to my husband. Maybe, I mean, it's been almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in August, but maybe in order to make sure it's longer, we need to go ahead and I'm just not sure who'd we be aiming for. And so we also learned that now that she's gone, the prince just basically tries to find replacements. That's it. And so he's trying to find people that look like her in some form or fashion. And as soon as I read that, I was like, I bet you it has something to do with that mole. And it does. The mole under his left eye. She also had a mole underneath hers. And then we have a moment where Qingyu is just like, oh, so basically if I destroy my eye, then he will lose interest. And Wan Chong is just like, yeah, but you probably won't do that, right? Like, I like your eyes as they are. And I was like, oh, now look at that little compliment. But I also read it as just like, but you probably won't do that, will you? Like, hold up, right? You won't. And of course, Ching Yu's whole philosophy is like, I want to make him pay. Why do I have to hurt myself in order to make him pay? No, we're just going to make him pay. So it was very interesting to just again see them have their little chat with each other. Then when we the other thing I wanted to mention, yes, so that knowing this about this Jingchun lady finally made it make sense to me when it said that his eyes widened and he had agitated breaths, because that was so weird, and I was like, why are his eyes widening and why is his breath agitated? Now it really makes sense. I'm not even mad at I wasn't mad at the way it was translated earlier, by the way. I just wanted to know why. Because clearly in my mind, when I read it, it felt like it was more than just, oh wow, he's so stunningly beautiful. Like I felt that there was more to it. So really it was good writing on, the author's part, because now, boom, we see there was a purpose behind it. Me trying not to give anything away. You do so good at not giving things away. You really do. I greatly appreciate you, NFS, because you don't be giving stuff away. Mm-mm. You don't be giving stuff away. Hey, mm-mm, mm-mm. Okay. I don't know why I started turning that into a song. So then, we move forward and find out that Lady Liang and her beautiful daughter, like I just threw beautiful in there, Lu Niantal, they've been visiting the palace in secret, and they actually brought some of the items from their dowry to the palace. Why? To go visit a certain consort, to get in a certain consort's good graces, to catch the attention of a certain crown prince. Mm. And the crazy thing is, though, if the Marquess knew about this, he would be livid, because he's already made it clear from in earlier chapters when it was time to provide a gift for the noble consort that he's not trying to do anything that makes it seem like he's trying to gain favor or anything like that. So they definitely have to do this in secret. And so then we have Qingyu and Wancheng decide they're going to go to the Lin residence, because Qingyu is just like, I'm going to go. And Wancheng's like, when? And he's like, now. Now. I'm going to go now. So, they, yeah, so they get there, and they got there in the nick of time because his father was just about to leave for Yongliang, where there's battle going on. And the emperor actually commanded that the great General Gu, who was poisoned, be treated. I was like, Gumang, what are you doing here? And why have you been poisoned? I was like, I thought you were only tempered. I'm just kidding. So, different goose. Okay. Anyway, the other thing that I wanted to say, you said not the great General Goose. Hold on. You said, the struggle is real though. Give me cookies. Okay. I'll send you some cookies. I'll just send cookies to your address. But whatever cookies you like, just tell me. What cookies do you like? You've got your stepdad needs to go shopping, but he can't be trusted. Oh yeah, keep an eye on him. I agree. You said, "Oh, I will." So yes, so yeah, he has to go and handle that because um, it just is what it is. But then when we move further down on this page, it says that Lu Wancheng's life-saving medicine has been prescribed by Lin Qingyu's father, so he might even know other ways to help Lu Wancheng hold on for a few more days. Y'all, I underlined this because I was like, a few more days. A few more days. Have How much time has passed? I'm like, are we close to the end? What do you mean if he can hold on for a few more days? And so I kind of spiraled just for a quick second because I was like, no, 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 no. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much all there is to that chapter. The only other thing I want to say about our great General Gu is that Lin Yu thought that great General Gu was someone worth saving. And you know what? I agree. I agree. Even though it's not even the General Gu I'm thinking about. So, so that's pretty much for that chapter. Then we move on to chapter 28, which apparently I didn't fill up the entire thingy on this one. Look at me. So in this chapter, we have Lin Yu's father. He's a little smarty, and he's like, I know that, my son and his husband are not here for nothing. So he actually took them into the study. And then Yu was just like, hey, Dad, you recognize this incense? So he gives him the incense that he's been working on from earlier chapters. And his father tells him this is about 9/10 of the pursuing phoenix, which is from the Fungi Palace. And so, of course, hearing this information, Yu is just like, oh, only 9/10? And he's like, yeah. And he feels upset about it because he's like, oh, it needs to be better. Meanwhile, his father is like, well, wait, let me make sure. Hold on. No, it was Luan Chung who was like, I mean, we only went there, what, just once or twice? And you already know this just once. The fact that you're 9/10 close to this replicating the smell, I think that's pretty good. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. And Tingyu is just like, I don't want to look at this person anymore. Basically. So then, you said super nose, Tingyu, right? Nine, how do you know it's 9/10? Your nose is that powerful? That's pretty amazing. Go, Dad. Go, Dad. So, Tingyu asks his father if he can get him some samples of the scents from Fungi Palace, Changla, and the Eastern Palace. So his father says he's willing to try. He's got a student who, works with the palace maids or whatever, and he's like, I think he can get a little something done for you. Um, what do you want to use this for? And Tingyu is basically like, you don't need to know. Just I'm handling my business. Something got in my throat. Oh my gosh. Alrighty. I don't know what that was. You guys know, like, when just like something randomly feels like it's in your throat? That's what happened. So now I'm just like dying. Just dying just a little bit. Okay. I think I'm okay. I don't know what that was. So anyway, now I lost my place. Oh, Yu's father checks Wan Cheng's pulse, and Yu feels nervous. This is usually something he didn't feel because, I mean, you said drink some water. I did. I did. So he's feeling nervous, and I don't like it, of course, but I just like that we're getting more of his emotions in regards to things concerning Wan Cheng. Because, of course, in the beginning, he was ready for this man to die. Now we see he's prolonged his life. He doesn't want him to make jokes about him dying anymore. He's even nervous to hear what his father is going to say and all of that stuff. So it's just nice to see how everything turns, even if all of it isn't necessarily outward, but more so inward that we're getting. So anyway, at this point, it's not a matter of if Wan Cheng will live, really just a matter of can his life be prolonged, which is really sad. I don't want to think about that because the more and more we go, the more and more I feel like, yeah, he is just going to die. But then I'm like, but the story can't end. So what happens next then? It's such a good evolution. Tissues, tissues. Yes, look, tissues for my eyes and apparently tissues for my nose. Sorrows, sorrows, prayers. Oh, oh God. So, when we move forward, huh, also, his father learns that Tingyu changed the ingredients in turn, meaning he knows about Wanchung's inability to get it up, and Wanchung is not happy about this. He doesn't want a single other person to know that he can't get it up because, of course. But when Wanchung is ushered out, his father tells Qingyu, like, hey, you need to tell the family, go ahead and start preparing his rites, like, because he's got 2 months left. I was like, 2 months? Just two? Why? Anyway, they have family dinner. And Wanchung's very happy, but he can't really eat much. He can't eat the stuff that's there, but he keeps putting food on his plate. And it's just kind of like the reality of the situation is really stark. It's there in your face. And hold on. He ends up falling asleep at the dinner table. And there's pictures. There's a picture. Actually, there are several pictures in these chapters. I was like, we didn't spend this entire book getting barely anything, and then suddenly it was like, boom, boom, boom. So here is Wanchung falling asleep at the dinner table. He's so adorable. But this is also really heartbreaking. So that's the picture. Also, I want to eat everything that's on the table. I'm just going to say that. You said, ooh, concoction. And the audio cut out for a smidge. Well, as long as it's back now, then we're good. Right? It's back. Okay, sounds like it is. So then, of course, Qingyu reassures his little brother, I believe. I think it was his little brother that he reassured. It keeps... Is it cutting in and out for anyone else? The sound? It did for you only once? Is it cutting in and out for anyone else? Yes? Okay. No audio? Well, that's odd because I can hear myself. Okay. But it's all right. It's okay for you. So, Megan, you just have no audio at all? Oop. Now the audio is back. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Well, as long as the audio is back, we're good for you, Megan. Because everybody else is good. So, okay. So, let me just bring this back over here. Oopsie. Alrighty. Where was I? But yeah, he's just hi, I'm a little bit late, but I made it. Hey, Mr. Strawberry Stars. I like that name. Nice to see you. It's totally fine that you're late. As long as you read the chapters, then you're good to go. And you can stay with us and then go back and rewatch the first hour and 4 minutes if you'd like. So, yes, welcome. We are currently on chapter 28, basically at the end of it, actually. So, we're about to cover the last 2 chapters. But yeah, he reassures his little brother that Wan Chung just fell asleep at the table because he's exhausted himself, from the journey and the talking and stuff, because everybody's concerned, right? Makes sense for obvious reasons. So now I have to see where I left off after. Hi, Berry Berry. I love it. So then he's taken away to the room, right? So on page 325, we have, poor little Ching He, which is again Ting Yu's little brother, who I just spoke about, because his mom, love her. She was like, oh my gosh, his brother barely comes here, so you can stay home. You don't have to go to school. But nevertheless, he ends up having to still do work. But really quickly, because I did see that I skipped a note, Qing Yu had Wan Cheng sent to the guest room. And I put a note and I was like, will you be able to sleep tonight? Will you? Hmm. And so then once we get to the paragraph at the bottom, it just says, he kept feeling as though something was missing. And I was like, your hubby is missing. And then he started being like, between the bed and the divan, there should be have been a screen with painted mandarins and ducks in the water. And I was like, you're definitely thinking about your home where you now live with your husband. So I thought that was funny. Now going back to his little brother, he gets to stay home for a couple of days and not be in school. But meanwhile, his brother is still having him reciting passages of poetry and writing characters and all of that stuff. And it's just like, well, he's not having any fun at all. I mean, he might be having fun for the simple fact that his brother, it's his brother. But it's just funny, like he stayed home and he's still doing schoolwork, basically. That was funny. So then we have that, Wan Chung, he's up and he admits that he did not sleep well. And I was like, yeah, because someone was missing. But then he even does say, well, he asks if he has to sleep in the guest room again. And before this conversation can even continue, of course, the classic interruption for a conversation that was about bringing them closer or vulnerable in any kind of way was interrupted by being informed that physician Lean is here. And physician Lean, not physician Lean, physician who is physician Lean Ting Yu's dad's Lean Ting Yu's dad's student. That was a lot. He's here. So at the end of the chapter, we see that Wan Chong is sad. And why is he sad? And it says, because it seems like I'm the only one who's not used to this. Death, I assume. I'm actually not sure, but I just assume he meant death. He said you're switching to out loud and plugging in your headphones just in case it's the battery issue. My headphones just start telling me. Well, if your headphones are not telling you, boo. Boo. Also, I have some beats, and every blue moon, I'll be listening to something, and then the sound just like cuts out. And I'm like, where do we go? Oh, you said you thought it was not sleeping together. Yeah, it's actually probably that. It's actually probably just that. Look at me, I always jump into like the worst thing. Which, yeah, I guess has become the new norm for both of them. So yeah, it seems like I'm the only one who's not used to this. Meanwhile, Qing Yu seems just fine. But really, he's not. We know he's not. So anyway. Oh, what did I just do? Oh, there we go. Moving on to chapter 29. Also, there's a lot in this chapter. Okay, let's do it. Oh, that's hot. Really, really hot. So in chapter 29, we have physician Hu Ji. Really poor. Dude came from poverty. And one day, Physician Lean saw him gulping down some water to stave off his hunger, and he felt compassion for him, so he gave him a job as a library janitor. That cup is bigger than your head. It looks like it's trying to eat me. Wait, what? Hold on. Oh no. Well, if it's trying to eat me, it won't succeed. But I do hope I don't accidentally spill the drink on myself. That would be so awful. Oh my God. Now that's something I'm going to think about randomly. It's not trying to eat me, I promise. Like Twintian, but trying to gobble up your head. I do miss Twintian. Where's Twintian? Oh, in the bedroom. So, so yes, we have physician Huji here, and he was the library janitor. Eventually, he entered the Department of Imperial Physicians, and he became the Marquess Lean's pupil. So, I just want to note really quickly, because he has the incense with him, that the red incense is for the Empress. It's beige and wait, red incense is for the Empress, beige is for the noble consort Chun, and the Crown Prince doesn't normally use any incense. So then moving forward, we have the Pursuing Phoenix. It's calming, it has a soothing effect, and it supports longevity. Also, I saw a really random video from this lady asking, why do we pronounce the G in longevity twice? And I'm not gonna lie, my whole world was shook for just like a moment, because I was like, longevity. Like, it's a very soft first G, but longevity. Because it sounds weird to say longevity or longevity, but longevity. Why are we pronouncing the G twice? Anyway, I'm digressing. I just want to share that with y'all, because I was like, yeah, I don't say longevity. I say, and everyone I've ever heard say the word says longevity. Longevity. Anyway, we have, so the Pursuing Phoenix is calming, it has soothing effects, and supports longevity. Then we have the Plum and Willow incense that can open pressure points and calm the blood. And nobody can burn these incense unless they were bestowed upon them by the emperor. So people might die if it's found out that they're using them. And we have this maid and this eunuch risked everything to steal these incense. And I'm not gonna lie, just for a moment, I was like, well, I guess they gotta die. Guess they gotta die since they're in on it. I might be stepping a little too far ahead though. So, like, just cool it, Mari, is what I'm gonna tell myself. So, then we move forward and hold on. On page 330, I wanted to point out this note here, because when they're like thinking about why the crown prince doesn't burn incense, of course, it says that the crown prince fought for the throne and he personally witnessed the third prince die from poisoning. So he's just extremely careful about everything that is being brought to him. And I was like, did he personally witness the prince die from poison, or did he personally witness the third prince die from poison, if you know what I mean? So anyway, then we move forward and we have this little thought from Qing Yu at the bottom of the page, just thinking about, because Hu Ji is like, your father saved me. It's an honor to be able to help his son. Whatever you need, just let me know. And Qing Yu, he's thinking, his father has saved many people before. And he's like wondering how people as kind as his parents produced someone as evil as him. That kind of made me sad. It made me really, really sad, because I was like, no, Qing Yu, like, don't think that way about yourself. Cause anyway, let me see what I wrote before I like veer off. Okay. So yeah, so basically my whole thought is I personally don't think that he's evil. Do I think maybe sometimes his thoughts are a little drastic when it comes to people who have wronged him? Yeah, sure. But I don't think he's evil. I feel like an evil person would be going out and harming innocent individuals, people that have done nothing wrong at all. But it's directly tied to specific kind of people. And while that still may not be lawful or good, I wouldn't say that he's evil. But then the other thing that I thought about is they're still his parents. And oftentimes, we can be different from our parents, absolutely, because we're all unique individuals. But we also get a lot from our parents, and it's up to us to be different. And so I was just thinking, I wonder, in the regard of kindness, how high he puts his parents on a pedestal when they're actually, especially his father, since he trained under him specifically, and wondering if he truly knows what his own father's inner thoughts are. Like, you see your father as this benevolent, kind individual saving others and stuff. But what if he also has thoughts just like you? What if he's acted on some of those thoughts before and you just don't know? Or what if he, yes, like I said, has had those thoughts, but just hasn't acted on them? So to me, it's just kind of like you don't know what's going on in your dad's head. You don't know what's going on in your mom's head. So, you know, you say you can be psychopath and not evil. Sociopath? Like, you can lack a compass but still not act on evil. Yeah, you said makes sense. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like you don't know the inner thoughts that they're having. Your dad could be just as like as you. In fact, after hearing you ask for the particular incense the from the palace, I'm sure even though after he asked you and then you said basically, "Don't worry about it. I got it all taken care of, Dad." I'm sure he can guess. I'm sure your dad knows something is up. Something that isn't good is up. But he still went ahead and had a message sent to Huji so that you can get those items stolen from the palace. Like, your dad, come on, come on. It's just like, come on. So we come on, we're all good. So anyway, after that whole little thing, we have Wan Chang and Ting Yu will have to find a chance to send someone to Xiao Cheng since he's so cautious and they can't send something to Xiao Cheng. So then, Ting Yu also instructs for the divan in his room to be changed into a bed for Wan Chang so he can watch over Wan Chong just in case anything happens. Because Hua Lu, what did he say? She's clumsy or something, and Huan Tong, he may not always be paying attention. So we just go ahead and sleep in the same room just in case something happens with Wan Chong, and I need to be there to make sure he's okay. Okay. So then, while they're there, while they're there, oh my God, sorry. Let me get some water. While they're there, I set that down kind of hard. While they're there, they says that they need to find an opportunity, and I wrote before we got to the next part. Hold on. Can y'all even read that? Maybe. Lu Niantal. Huh? She went there in secret anyway. So anyway, let me go to the next page or my next section. We get to close to the end of this section, and Qingyu. One second. Yes, Wan Chong mentions that when they get back to the Nan-An residence to Lanfeng Pavilion, that he should have a carpenter make a ding ding bunk bed. And of course, when he explains, like, I'll sleep on the bottom, you sleep on the top, Tingyu is just like, huh? Okay. His expression is complicated. Hmm. And Huan Tong is just like, ah, the young Marquess is so besotted. So, oh, this next bit, peak schemery. So, we have days, Qingyu spends days studying this incense, right? And he'll come back, smelling like one or the other. Then, one day, the emperor wants to get some concubines for the crown prince before he even gets a wife. And I was like, oh, didn't I just say on the previous page, maybe they could use Lunian Tao some kind of way? Well, it's up to the empress to make a list of names for the crown prince. And these two concubines, they're going to be the first significant partners he's had. They're going to handle things, handle internal affairs. And so, guess whose name is among that list? Lu Tien Tao. There they go. He said, oh. So then, Lu Nian Tao's name is on there. And I was like, perfect. We can use her in some kind of way. Let's do it. Okay. So then we get to the next portion where it says the crown prince is supposed to be going to the temple to burn the 300 Buddhist prayers that he'd written for the emperor's health. Because if you guys remember, the emperor got sick at the autumn hunting grounds, and so that's why they had to come back, blah, blah, snore. And so he's off to the temple. Who else is off to the temple? Qing Yu and Wan Chong. And Huan Tong. Okay. And Hualu, I guess. So anyway, they go. And guess who else is there? Lady Liang and her beloved Lu Nian Tao. So everybody there. Let's just go ahead and throw the poison party now. Okay, so they're there. Wan Chong actually goes to see the imperial preceptor, and we have an interesting little chat between these two. So, one of the things that I thought was interesting is that Wan Chong wanted to get straight to the point. And the imperial preceptor was basically like, oh, I'm used to you basically having time to chat with me and just being chill. And Wan Chong, he's like, okay, bye. He's like, I told you, let's skip the pleasantries. Okay, these emperors be getting sick at the hunting. Like, what's at the hunting grounds that y'all be getting sick? And so, when the imperial preceptor is like, I'm used to you wanting to chat, he's like, okay, I don't have time for this, bye. So then the imperial preceptor says these very cunning words. At least I found them cunning when he says, about your fate. However many calculations I perform using the name Lu Wan Chong and his birth date, they always conclude at the final month of this year. So he's just intentionally said it this way because he's like, I remember our last conversation. You told me you don't have another name, but clearly you do. And of course, we know that because they said, I perform using the name Luan Chong and his birth date, not in your birth date, but just his birth date. So that's his way of being like, I know who you are. And he even says, like, dang, it's a pity that the final month of this year is when Lu Wan Chong's fate ends. So then we have them going, and Wan Chong is just like, wow, the book said you had some real skills. And he's like, oh, what book are you talking about? And I was like, sir, the novel that you're in, obviously. The novel that you're all in, obviously. And so Lu Wan Chong Doesn't answer that. Instead, he writes 10 words on a paper and it says, "Please divine this individual's fate, Imperial Preceptor." So we know it says Jiang something, whatever the something is, because he gave us Jiang some chapters ago. So then an hour later, we have, the Imperial Preceptor. He actually pushes Lu Wancheng's wheelchair back to the room to return him to Qingyu. So before that, he's like, "Are you certain about what you said?" And the Imperial Preceptor is like, "I am, but fate could always change things and then not certain anymore." Okay. So then we move on, and Chingu is just like, "Hey, what did the Imperial Preceptors say to you?" And he's like, "I'll tell you later." How are Lady Liang and Lin Yan Tao? And so, then we have Wan Cheng. Wan Cheng is just like, "You must really dislike the crown prince, right?" And of course, Chingu is just like, "Do you even need to ask me this question? Like, that's like asking if the sky is above us. Clearly it is. Like, you're not going to look down and see the sky unless you're looking at the reflection of it in the water." Yes, yes, yes. So then Wan Chang goes on to ask, "If you had to be kissed by a man, whether it be him or me, who would you choose?" I'm part of the family in the Apothecary Diaries and 3 main novels you read. The hunting grounds are not the place to be. But I think, let's see, who went to the hunting grounds and didn't get sick? Prince Jingstad from Disabled Tyrant's Beloved Petfish. Did he get sick? I don't think so. But a lot of stuff definitely happened, as it always does. It's the perfect place for things to go down is at the hunting grounds. And I just rhymed. So anyway, just by like hearing that, of course, Xingyu is like, "I wouldn't choose either." And he's like, "You gotta pick, you know." And then he's like, "I choose to die." And he's like, "Bruh, pick." So he's like, "Fine, okay, I would choose you." And then Wan Chung is just like, "Okay, you said it yourself, bro." And I was like, "Huh? What are you doing?" So this man gets up out of his wheelchair and he wraps his arm around Chingyu's waist, pulls him close, and then Chingyu's about to push him away, but then he's like whispering in his ear, "Someone's watching, looking. Someone's looking. Who's looking? We know who's looking. I mean, it could be a number of people, I suppose, but we know who's looking." So anyway, he basically brushes his lips across Lin Qingyu's cheek. Barely anything, but it got him excited. And he was like, "I think something's wrong." And Qingyu's just like, "What's wrong?" And he was like, "My heart, it's racing and I can't breathe." And at first I was just like, "Oh, little baby, like, he's just excited." But no, like, yes, excited, but oh no, this leads to him fainting. But before he faints, he makes sure to deliver his important message of, "Don't do a princess carry." And then he faints. Here's this picture. And I'm going to just zoom in closer. So cute. I just really wanted them to kiss so bad. I was so mad that he was like, "Someone's watching." I was like, "Ugh. I wanted y'all to kiss for real. I really want them to kiss for real." So anyway, let me make sure I'm on my notes. He said, yes, I was just like, "Please kiss for real." But they didn't. So anyway, right, I'm on the back of the page. Wraps his arm. Someone's looking. Someone's looking. Da, 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 da. He faints pretty scary. Oh yes. So Huan Tong actually. Okay. Huan Tong is going to be the one to take him back right? The flowy hair. Oh my gosh, Lin Chingyu's hair just like flowing. I'm just like, that's everything. Give me that hair. So when he's going to take um Wan Chung, to lie down somewhere and get some help, he says to Qingyu, like what excited him? Like what's wrong with the master? And Qingyu is just like, he's too weak, he can't take excitement. So Huan Tong is like, okay, given his personality, what could the Marquess have gotten so excited about? Who knows? Says Lin Qingyu. And he's like, carry him back to the room to rest. And then he calls out His Highness because he knows he's there. And I was like, we all know he was excited at the prospect of kissing you. Man, I really wanted them to kiss before, I want them to kiss before this volume is over. Are they gonna? Don't say it. But are they gonna? Man. The flowy hair. Right. The hair is having a whole moment. I'm gonna just take it back one more time. To look one more time. Beautiful. So now we are on the final chapter. Lips zipped. So in chapter 30, we have the crown prince who finally comes out after he was called out anyway. And he was like, oh, that was a little entertaining scene you played out for me. Also, in the very next paragraph, it says, the newcomer had long eyebrows that nearly reached his sideburns. Excuse me, sir, but your eyebrows are a little bit too long for me. Like I'm looking at my own eyebrows, and my barely there womanly sideburns are here. Where where's your eyebrow running off to? Like where is it going? Why are your eyebrows that long? What are we doing? How is this man so handsome but has eyebrows that are reaching to the Netherlands? I don't get it. So, like, that would be so weird for me. I'd be like, you need to shave your eyebrows constantly. So anyway, he's got long and narrow eyes and thin lips. That just so y'all know, I think it's not about eyebrows. It's about Austro-Hungarian sideburns. I have never heard of that word before. It took me a minute. I was like, let me read this word really slowly. Austro-Hungarian sideburns. So letting my cup devour my face for a second. 1 second. Austro-Hungarian sideburns. Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm gonna pull up a picture, I suppose. Still long though. These are some pretty crazy sideburns. But still. Look, this is the same photo. I was trying to find another one. Anyway, that's enough of that. That gives the best picture. Yeah. What really? Yeah, I've never heard Austro-Hungarian. Have I heard of Hungary? Yes. Have I heard of sideburns? Yes. Have I seen these sideburns? Yes. Have I heard them referred to as Austro-Hungarian sideburns? No. So that there we have it. That's all that is. Some things you're familiar with, but the names of them are not quite familiar. So let's see. Moving past his looks, which I still don't like. Oh, look, did you send me an image? Get your hair done in Budapest. Here y'all go. This is what NFS sent me. Anyone want their hair done like that? So, when we move forward, he is looking at Lin Qingyu, and Qingyu mentions the crown prince's first love. Why does he do this? Because the man is clearly trying to flirt with him. But let's go back to before that. Xiao Cheng never moved his gaze from Lin Qingyu's face. Lift your head and look at me. Point one. 1 point for Wan Cheng. Okay. So then he's like, I haven't seen these eyes in a long time. And and Qingyu is just like, is your highness speaking of Princess Jingchun's eyes? And the crown prince is like, Wan Cheng told you about that? How does he know about that? And so then he's like, okay, it would still seem like, the crown prince is still in love with this lady. And Xiao Cheng is like, no, even if she never existed, I still would have fallen for you. And it's just sad that you're with such a man like Wan Cheng because he's a weakling waiting for death. And even a kiss can knock him out. And I'm like, sir, you just keep talking yourself into a grave. That's what you're doing right now. Do not talk about Wan Cheng. You don't get to do that. Or you only get to do it once. Okay? This was your once. There will be no further times. So then we move forward. And he's calling Qingyu a beauty. And he goes on to talk, like I said, I would have fallen in love with you at first sight anyway. And what does he say? Xiao Qing Yu. Now, I want to share, in case anyone doesn't already know, share the double meaning in this. So we have Xiao, as in his name, Xiao Cheng. But we also have Xiao, as in what you put before you say someone's nickname. So Xiao Qing Yu could be like little Qing Yu. Basically, you say that for people that you're close with, like Xiao R. Even though it's Xiao already, you could still use Xiao as in little, but then the R is also there as well. But just saying Xiao, person's name, is supposed to be cute, affectionate, close. So I thought it was very nauseatingly clever for him to have that little double meaning in there of Xiao Qing Yu and Xiao Qing Yu. Did not appreciate it though. And y'all are still talking about these thingies. He said, are you from Europe or did you travel from further away? Europe! Oh, you're formerly part Austro-Hungary. Oh, look at y'all. So, anyway, I did not appreciate that. Coming from, like, that's just blatant disrespect to the man in the marriage. Okay, you need to go sit down somewhere. So, anyway, then we move further down. And 2 points for Wan Cheng because Xiao Cheng noticed the lingering fragrance on Lin Qingyu's body and his tongue poked the inside of his cheek. That was one of the things that Wan Cheng said. He's the kind of guy that does that. So 2 points for him. Anyway, he was like, Xiao Qingyu. Again, you smell so good. Yeah, alrighty. So we move forward. And, Qingyu is just like, You realize my marriage to the young Marquess was proposed by the Empress and permitted by the Emperor. Aren't you being disrespectful and out of line right now? So then, of course, Xiao Chang, he like freezes for a moment. And then he's just like, it don't matter. He's not going to live long anyway. I'm patient. You said you do not know why you double double. Come, come. I mean, we do that too under certain circumstances. Um, for what I know, like here in America, I don't know if all cultures do it, but I know that like when we say something twice, it's to add emphasis to like it being that's what it really, really is. Like if I say this book is good, then it's good. But if I say this book is good, good, oh, it's really good. So I don't know like what the purpose behind yours is, but that's the purpose behind ours. It's good, good. If it's hot, if you say if it's hot, hot, that means it's unbearably hot outside. Okay, it's way too hot. So anyway, I digress. Jumping into y'all conversation in the chats. Um, where was I? Oh yeah, so he was like, "I'm patient. I'll wait for your husband to die," essentially, and I was like, "Excuse you." So of course, at that point, Qingyu is just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go take care of my husband. Bye." So then he says Xiao Qingyu again, and I'm tired of this man saying it. Okay, but he says, "One day, I'll have you lie beneath me willingly. I'll wait for you." Sir, at least have some kind of decorum, okay? But I digress. And of course, Yu murmured to himself, like, don't wait for me, wait for death to befall you instead. And I'm like, abso-freaking-lutely. Because what are we doing? You said Yu is like, fuck you talking about my hubby. I mean, for real, like, the guy was just so blatantly disrespectful. I'm like, are you kidding me? Right. Ugh. Like, are you kidding me right now? What are we doing? How rude of you to just be like, oh, he won't live long. I'll wait for him to die. I'm patient. How rude of you to say to a married man, one day I'll have you lie beneath me willingly. Like, sir, that's not the first thing you should be saying. If this is someone that what did you just say earlier? You would have fallen in love with him at first sight. This don't sound like love. This sounds like lust. And it's so rude to just blatantly say something like that to someone. Like, are you kidding me? The fuck? Exactly. Gross. To the well. He could go all the way to the well. I don't even care. Goodbye. So then we move forward. And Wan Chung, he wakes up and he's embarrassed. And it also says that he was like in the moment when they did the whole fake kissy kissy thing, he was enraptured by Chingyu's beauty and he overdid things. Let's just put it out there. So it's like at this point, guy, I hope like at least internally you have realized that you're gay. I hope, because we're not getting many of your thoughts, but I hope you realize that you're in love with this man. We'll give Chingyu a little bit more time, but I hope you've realized it at least. To the heckin' well. Gotta admit, lots of people in this book are entirely wellable. I don't know why I love this expression. You are entirely, entirely wellable. All of them can go to the well. Like, gone. Gone. Ah. And for anyone who's caught up on the most recent QJJ chapters, y'all already know someone else that can go to the well immediately. So anyway, where am I? So yeah, he was enraptured. And then we have when they're leaving, Wan Chong and Huan Tong actually go to pray to Buddha while Qingyu goes and talks to the monk physician that did acupuncture on Wan Chong. Entirely wellable. That's what I'm saying. That's perfect. And so Huan Tong actually does like the kowtow, the prostration for him since, he can't do it. You said, oh, yes, that was awful. By the end of the story, they are stacked in there and stick out at the top. We're going to have to dig another well then because I don't want anybody to survive. You're like, oh, this well's too full. Let's make another one. So Tingyu's wish is for, no, Wanchung's wish is for Tingyu to always be happy, to be happy forever. Like, you want to hear this sound? So, there's that. End of that section. And we move to like the last, second to last portion of this. I just described a scene from one of the Infinite Flow novels. You can't remember. Oh. Uh-oh. Was it Stephanie that described the scene by saying what they just said? Or did I say something? Was it about digging a second well? Now you gotta pee. I was trying to give you some ASMR. Oh gosh. So we have Wan Chung and Tingyu arriving home at the same time as Lady Liang and Lu Niantao. When they get there, Lu Niantao is just like, oh, why didn't you tell me that? Blah, blah, blah. And Tingyu was just like, ugh, I would hate to have to deal with the unpleasantness of that. And then he's about to take Wan Chung's wheelchair, and push him to the room. But Wan Chung is like, sorry, Wan Chung, take me to my room. And everybody is like, they're surprised because when has Wan Chung ever been cold to Ting Yu? And so literally for just a split second, I was like, excuse me? Because we got to the next part because, Louis and Tao was like, of course, they're like this because they always get along. But now we got people like the Crown Prince looking at his man. So that's the problem. And then on the next page, it was like that night, Lu Wancheng and Lin Qingyu had a huge fight, turning Langfeng Pavilion inside out and upside down. And I was like, excuse me? Huh? What did we do? Huh? Did I miss something? And I was like, wait, no, this has to be fake. Just for a second, I was like, the stacked well. I know where all the Wellable people ended up. I'm sure you do. So they're arguing. And Wan Chong is just like, answer me. Did you or didn't you make plans to secretly meet the Crown Prince at Changsheng Temple today? And Qingyu is just like, if I made plans, then why would I bring you along? Of course, he didn't say it like that. But why would I bring you with me? And he was like, do you think I'm stupid because I'm ill? Yes. And then he was like, you never wear incense. So why did you put on a scented sachet today and when you visited the temple? He's like, on a whim. I didn't know that he was going to like it. And he's like, you must really want me to die as early as possible so that you can choose a second husband or even higher status. Of even higher status. And he was like, if you really want to think that way, then there's nothing I can do about it. And then he's like, hey, you can't say that. Why not? Because I don't have anything good to say back to that. Look at what are we doing? I was just like, okay, sure. So then Qingyu was just like, okay, well then let's just stop for now. So then he picks up this vase because he's about to throw it down like he's all mad and stuff. He's like, that's an antique. He's like, oh, let me just put this down. It'll be part of your inheritance. Whole scene was absolutely hilarious. I just thought their little argument was funny. So anyway, we move forward. And when Qingyu gets into the room, he sees that the bed and the divan have been replaced but they bunk bed. And the carpenter is actually still there. And Wan Chung is like, hey, put a railing right here so he don't roll off and then to the ground, you know. And so he's like, I'll get on that right away, sir. Well, that night, Ting Yu was already asleep, but he was awakened by Wan Chung standing and looking at him. And he's like, okay, well, clearly the guy's not like deathly ill and need help with something because he's standing and he's looking at me. Turns out he turned 18. And I was like, what? So you want to kiss? Is that why you're saying this? You want a little smoochy smooch? Would you like I don't know, something special? I mean, don't you gotta wait till you're 20, but you want some early coming of age action? Is that why you're saying this? So that's that's it for what was required. Hold on. So, like I said, I realized that I had put so many chapters on one day because I have a doctor's appointment on Monday, so we can't meet. But there is no way we're going to sit and talk about chapters 31 through 38 on Thursday. That's going to be entirely too long of a video. Although I'm very proud of myself. We had 20 minutes of random conversation and then started, and we're done at 1 hour and 50 minutes. Hey, I'm getting better. Oh gosh, because I was like, we should not be here for more than 2.5 hours discussing these things. But anyway, so I was thinking maybe on hmm, that's inconvenient. You said yay. Hmm. If you guys want, maybe what we could do is have a discussion this Saturday because Monday I can't, Tuesday's inconvenient. Oh, Sunday I also can't. Wednesday I can't. Thursday will be a discussion. Will be the last discussion actually for book one, volume one. So, do you guys want to meet on Saturday, the 21st at like 11 a.m.? Will that work? Just curious for all of my peoples that are already here. You said we love the discussions. I know you guys do, but I also just still want to try to make sure that they are as efficient as possible. um, you'll be driving home from out of state. Oh no. Or oh yes. Actually, I don't know. I'm not sure if that would be an oh no or an oh yes for you. Just gonna wish y'all luck in the last few chapters. I don't like that. I don't like that. Saturday seems good. Yes. Megan, when you say you're driving home from out of state, will you be able to listen, but maybe just like not type, or no? Because I can't do Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday for us to meet together, which kind of sucky. But I also don't want to like spend one session talking about so many chapters in one thing. Like it's a lot. So, but yeah, I will make the um the live thingy so you guys can go ahead and have your reminder set for this Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it's clear to several people that it's always Eastern Standard Time, but in case there's ever anyone new or who isn't familiar with where I am, it's always Eastern, so you'll have to convert it. You said maybe, not, not sure how much reading I'll be able to do tomorrow. True, 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 true. Yeah, I'm also trying to think about like how much reading I would need to do today and tomorrow in order to be ready for Saturday. Let me see. Because we have 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So that's 8 chapters Four chapters would be, let me see, this is page 351. I'm going to tell you how many pages it is, just so you know. 31, 32, 33, 34 to page. It'll be 33 and a half pages of content if we on Saturday just discuss chapters 31 through 34. 34 pages or 33 and a half, whatever. Your girlfriend will be driving? Yay! I sure hope so, because Pinky needs to rest. You said, why not 3 and 5? Oh, just 3 chapters? Hmm. Yeah, we could do that. Chapters 31 through 33. It'd be very short. But yeah, we can do that if y'all want. Just the would you rather do 3 chapters and then 5 chapters, or do 4 chapters and then four? Actually, why am I asking this verbally when I can just put it in the chat? That way I can just see the numbers. Okay, so 3 and 3, or 4 and 4. I mean 3 and 5. 3 and 5, or 4 and 4. Okay, two sessions left. You said soon it would be an 9 hour difference because of daylight savings time. Oh. And right now it's a 10 hour difference for you, right? 10 hours? I mean, closer you get to end, more difficult it will be to stop. So if you divide, it's better to do shorter batch first. I mean, honestly, regardless of how easy or difficult it is, like for me personally, like y'all do whatever y'all want to do. I know plenty of y'all have read ahead. For me, I am going to stop, regardless of how easy or difficult it is, because I have other obligations. Like I, for example, have to read QJJ. So it's like as much as I might want to be like, oh, let me read all this, I've got to read that. Not only that, but tomorrow my copy of volume 2 is arriving, and I'm like trying to be as patient as possible because I've already started listening to the audio book of volume 2, but I'm waiting so that I can continue with my eyes and ears. So it's like I'm reading Ballad of Sword and Wine, reading Eric Linnaeus, reading Thrice Married to a Salted Fish, and I'm also reading a fan fiction, an MHA fan fiction, and I'm reading um, a web comic surprise, right? For me. Also, this weekend, I need to watch. Well, actually, I don't know what it's called, but I need to watch this documentary on America's Next Top Model. So I've got a lot to do. So in order to do those things, I'm gonna have to stop. So even if it's difficult, I'll be fine. Oh, I didn't end this thing. Okay, but the majority of you said 3. Okay, so we'll just do chapters 31 through 33. And then for Thursday of next week, we'll do the remaining chapters. Yes, 10 hours. 3 and 5 will be easier. Okay, because you'll be back home and less busy. Okay. The book is very bingeable. It is very bingeable, and I've realized that the entire time that I've been slowly but surely reading this and kind of wondering how in the world I have managed to not just binge it. But I think the reason I've been able to control myself is because I know that if I binge it, then these discussions won't be as thorough because I'll have read all of it, meanwhile trying to discuss like the first 5 chapters. you know? So I think that's the thing for me. You said, oh, you paused on Tyra to watch this. Oh, really? Yeah, I saw her do an advertisement for it, and I saw Whitney. I can't remember which season, but the first, wasn't she the first plus size America's Next Top Model winner? I saw her talk about it, and I was like, I need to see what's happening because I'm not big on reality TV, but when I was younger, especially when I was in foster care for just like a little while, I loved America's Next Top Model. It was the only reality TV that I ever truly, truly invested in. And so it's one of those things where, like, in things in reality TV shows, there are things that people are going through, things that are being pushed for behind the scenes that makes it very difficult. But my brain wasn't thinking about it. So a part of me is like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for like the memories that I've had since childhood, even through adulthood, to be like crushed or ruined in a way from watching this documentary. And even Tyra, the preview that I saw, she was like, I realized that on some things I went too far. And I was like, what things, Tyra? What things? What things? So you said your lives helped me with my drawing so much. Well, I guess I need to do more lives. You watched a lot of content on it. So I'm watching this and being like, it was beginning of reality hype when people thought it truly wasn't scripted. Yeah, pretty much. You said Tyra. So look, Tyra herself is too far. It's crazy because I used to love Tyra Banks so freaking much. Like I even remember when I was in the 8th grade. Yes, in the 8th grade, it was Black History Month, and we were required to do an assignment, where we presented a Black person who did something great in history. And I chose Tyra Banks. And my very old Caucasian teacher told me that I could not do Tyra Banks because she did not make enough of an impact in the world. So, of course, my mother pranced her way on up to the school and was like, it was quite interesting. She's like, my daughter can't do what? I'm sorry? Tyra has not done what? Hmm? And it was quite an interesting thing. I don't remember the end result of if I still ended up doing Tyra Banks or if I changed it to someone else, like Barack Obama or something. But it was just like the audacity. Like she was livid. She's like, "Do you even know anything about Tyra Banks, or do you just know, oh, she's a model, so you think she hasn't done anything?" Excuse you, but also, why are we like measuring the quality or the value of what is deemed enough in society or for Black people for you to say that my daughter cannot cover Tyra Banks because she didn't make enough of a difference? My mom went clean off. It was not pretty. So you said a lot of us watch that too young in real time. She is an icon, but she is a lot. She definitely is. It was like, sir, you're way out of line. Because wasn't she also like the first Black model to be on, what was it, Sports Magazine? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. But it was like, sir, yes, she was the first Black woman to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, and the first Black American woman to be on the cover of GQ. It's just like, sir, okay. First Black woman in Victoria's Secret Angels. It's like, okay, all right. And we don't know all of the ins and outs. Well, For those who've watched the documentary, you do know. But before knowing any of the ins and outs of how the reality TV show worked, she's also changed several people's lives. When it came to America's Next Top Model, not even just talking about the winners, because the winners are not the only thing that matter, but also the people who still just did a good job and now their faces were out there. And so they go back home, but they have opportunities because the show revealed their faces. I was like, whoa, okay. You said if in my middle of nowhere knows of Tyra's impact. Yeah, I swear her book is on my TBR because it sounds insane. I need to see what her book is about. A woman's unserious impact has always been overlooked. Romance novels, and yet oldest, most influential literature. Girl written romance. Let me go to the. Yes, you can go to the rant channel. Yeah, we officially have a rant channel in our Discord. So, but yeah, for real. It's like, who cares? Why does it have to be something serious? You know? Why can't it just be something fun, something great, something amazing? But okay. Was Naomi Campbell after her? I believe so. No, I believe, weren't they at like the same time ish? I think. Let me see. Cause I also know that like Tyra had a little bit of beef with her or something like that. They're both. I just know that they're both like really iconic. Yeah, she's Campbell would be a British icon, the first black woman on Vogue France and Time covers. Whereas with Tyra, it's all the stuff in America. Mm. It says she was one of the original Big Six supermodels of the 1990s. Yeah. So I would say they came up, not together, but they came up together. Gilgamesh is basically Dame. I need to read Gilgamesh again. Who was I talking to about Gilgamesh not too long ago? My husband. And I was like, I need to reread that story. But I cannot add another thing on my plate to read. They had the whole thing of Naomi bullying her. Yeah, that's what she said. And I think I watched an interview with the two of them, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, Tyra, what are you saying? I don't know. I don't know about that, but I don't remember all the details. But yeah, that was an interesting experience that I had, and I was just like, okay, this is awkward. So, anyway, this was really, really fun, y'all. Allegedly. Yes, I say allegedly, because when I was listening, I'm just like, I don't know, Tyra. I'm not sure about this one. Also, I wanted to say, of course, I'm not giving spoilers. This is like channel update stuff. I'm trying to get this tag off the book. Tyra is in her own reality sometimes, especially recently. The only thing I will say, speaking of Tyra, that like I have just been kind of like upset about is this whole ice cream fiasco. Because a couple years ago, when her ice cream was coming out and everything, I was like, oh, I really want to get some. And they had shipping, right? But I had to buy like 6 pints of ice cream in order to get some shipped to me, which makes sense. They're not going to ship me 1 pint of ice cream. But at that time, I was broke. Broke as a joke. I didn't have money. So I was like, okay, sometime in the future, I'll do it. Well, she decided to move everything to Australia. So when I happened to look sometime last year, because I was like, now I'm in a place where I could buy some of her ice cream and try some of her ice cream, it was no longer available to ship in America. And now there's just like the public ice cream shops, and I was like, what are we doing? I was going to buy your ice cream. So now I'm gonna check again and see if it's available because I really want to try the ice cream. Tyra, like, let me in on these ice cream. You scream. We all scream for ice cream. Smy cream. So I was a bit peeved about that. Not gonna lie, because I really wanted to try it. True. Yeah. You thought it was a new thing. To be fair, her reasoning is that American milk is shite. It is. And honestly, we shouldn't be drinking it anyway. I saw this very interesting video, and this lady was like, so we had to be down and out real bad for someone to go up to a cow, look at that cow, and think, you know what? I want to take your milk and give it to humans. She was like, how bad, how down and out were we that we took the milk that a cow was a little baby cow was supposed to drink from their mother and decided that we were going to drink it for ourselves. And I was like, you know what, when you put it that way, I mean, I haven't drunk cow milk in a while, even though I, eat ice cream. But I was like, you know what, you're right, we must have been real down and out. Whoever's idea it was to just start drinking some cow milk. Rant channel. Uh, most history of we were starving. It's like, that cow milk looks good. Think I want to try it out for a size. Okay, sure. But yes, so really quickly, I am going to see how I'm going to do this, but I think we are to a point now, especially with the way that I've just been doing things, where I can go ahead and start putting the schedule back to how it usually is, which is Patreon getting videos 48 hours in advance and YouTube getting them, well, 48 hours later. So I'm trying to see if I will either try to upload a video, I don't know, on Sunday and then have Tuesday be the video for YouTube, or if I'll just wait and publish a video on Monday. We'll see. But the point is, I'm just letting y'all know that we're going back to the original schedule. Because at first I was doing live sessions with us talking, like discussing the chapters, but we're moving out of that because the story has already just been built well enough. But also, like, just trying to do live discussions for QJJ and live discussions for Salted Fish is a lot. And even after volume 1 is done, we're moving straight to volume 2. And after volume 2, we're moving straight to volume 2 of The Wife Comes First. So I've just been, sometimes when necessary, doing recaps at the end of the videos. So yeah, we're going back to the regular schedule because I think we can. You're going to start volume 3 soon. I hope you enjoy it. Like, honestly, the foundation was set so well in volume 1, and then volume 2 did such a great job at digging into the foundations of all the struggles and strife and all of that stuff. And volume 3, things become a lot more understandable, in my opinion, even though I understood volume 1 and 2 just fine. But it was a lot more understandable, and it's kind of like, this is what happened in volume 1 and 2. Volume 3, this is the consequences of everything that has happened, or the results of everything that has happened. So it just flows, a lot easier than volumes 1 and 2. With that being said, I don't know how volume 4 will flow, but we shall see. I already started reading it this morning, and I was like, okay. So yeah. I'm excited. We're not at the halfway point, but we're almost at the halfway point. We just gotta finish volume 4 and then we'll be at the halfway point. So, yeah. But that's pretty much it, you guys. I'm not gonna keep y'all here too much longer if we don't need to be here. Again, this Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'm not doing the math for the rest of those. We will be meeting to just discuss three short chapters. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope y'all have a beautiful rest of your day. I think what am I gonna go do? I'm probably just gonna like sit and no, I'm gonna lie in the bed for a little bit. I think for at least an hour or two and just do something. I don't know. And then I'm gonna get up and probably cook because I should do that. Then get back to making this video for QJJ. And I had to sneeze. It's not happening. Okay, so I'm okay. Oh. All right, but anyway, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day or your night. And I'll see y'all this Saturday. It was really good hanging out with y'all. Love y'all so much. Well, I'm Neiman. And see you next time. Wait, where am I ending it? Here or here? Have a great day, night, morning, wherever you are, says Stephanie. Yes, enjoy the rest of your